Hi everybody and Happy New Year.
Yep. Welcome back to season 2 of the podcast.
There's no season 1. Sorry to ruin the illusion.
Kind of ruined it.
My bad.
Kind of had to listen to the other video to get it. So we'll cut that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not. Okay. Yep. Welcome to season 2 of the podcast. Today we're going to be talking about some tips to set goals for the new year with chronic illness and what our New Year's resolutions are. Kyle's is to stop harassing people over the internet.
What? Who do I harass on the internet?
I don't know. Just convincing people that there's an entire season of a podcast that doesn't exist. That's not harassing.
That's a practical joke. There's a difference.
Okay. Anyways, setting goals is really important in my opinion to start off your year right and kind of have a focus of self-improvement for each year. But obviously chronic illness gets in the way of that, and so we created some tips. Just the tips.
Is that our new segment name? Where we get tips every week. Just the tips.
Yep.
For chronic illness.
Just the tips. Okay. You just saw the creation of that bit, but welcome to Just the Tips, hosted by Maddie and Kyle with the Co-Immunity ChronicILLS podcast. All right, to start off our Just the Tips, Kyle.
Yeah. So I think the biggest tip that I like to do, which it may not work for everybody, but I like to set my goals a little bit farther than I think that I could accomplish. I like to use that as a way to push myself and motivate myself to do better than I thought I could. But that also requires not to be too emotionally attached to my goals, which I know somebody who has a little different experience, but that's something that I use personally.
So I'm the complete opposite of Kyle because I get very emotionally attached to goals. So that's Kyle's got to the point where he doesn't tell us his goals for certain things, because I do get very emotionally attached to the goals I set for myself. I'm generally pretty hard on, I think we're both pretty hard on ourselves, but he's a lot more comfortable with setting things that aren't necessarily always achievable, and I try to set goals for myself that I know are going to be difficult, but are definitely in the realm of like getting done. Now, obviously, like one of my goals is to work out every week, 3 times a week, and I was sick all last week, and so that didn't happen. Now, like, that's a goal that's pretty manageable for me, but also, like, I'm pretty upset with myself that I didn't work out. And so, for me, it's much more important to set goals that, like, rely on consistency, and then that pushes me to remain consistent and build routines. For example, like, I have a lot of goals that are having to do with, like, reviewing my planner every day or drinking a certain amount of water every day. I do best if my goals build into routines, and then those routines act as, like, a reminder. Like, I'm able to create habits more easily. But definitely Kyle and I have 2 different kind of approaches to goal setting.
And I don't, who knows if one's better than the other, and I think you kind of have to do what's best for you. But
I know that, like, setting goals that you kind of abide by the 70-30 rule, don't you?
Yeah.
So he abides by kind of, like, goals that are, like, you have a 70% chance of what is it? It's like 70% chance. Anyways, like, his goals are stretch goals. My goals, nope. Not how I do it.
Yeah, but I think that can also be dependent on, like, health and, with your chronic illness, I mean, there's a lot of unknowns, and I think that requires us to be forgiving with our goals. Not, I guess, you have to be forgiving or flexible, where if something, you can't really predict comes up, you go to the hospital or you get sick, for months, you have to be able to reassess your goals and, look at it from multiple perspectives. If there's a different way to do the goal, in your current state, or if you need to push the deadline to,
pivot.
Yeah, basically, pivot to a more, to a goal that you think you can accomplish, or a different timeline for that goal. I think just reassessing your goals, however often you want, if it's daily, if it's weekly or monthly, I think that's important, and it kind of keeps you focused on what is important to you. And
I think so. For me, it's really important I think as a whole, people in the chronic illness community, I'm going to make a huge generalization, that's a bold move, but I think sometimes it's hard for us to set goals because of how much goes on with our chronic illness, and we don't want to be let down or kind of have our faces rubbed in the fact that we have chronic illness and a lot changes. But it is important to do, in order to, push yourself and, have resilience kind of ingrained in your year. A big thing I like to do is write down my goals at the beginning of the year. It helps me stay accountable, and then I like to review those goals every month. And then that's kind of where I do shifting of goals, and I've done that for probably the last 2 years, and it's helped me remain focused, especially when chronic illness, wreaks havoc. And so, for example, last year, my arthritis was really severe, and so instead of lifting weights, I did more cardio for my goals. And then this year, because my health is more flared, instead of setting like time limits on my exercise, I just did the generalization of exercise 3 times a week. That could be 10 minutes of movement, or an hour of, intense workout. But I think it's important that you do just kind of push yourself, but respect the limits that your body and your disease put on you, and kind of separate. It's easy to put together your mind and who you are as a person with the identity of your chronic illness. And I know I struggle with this really bad, but just because your chronic illness is letting you down doesn't mean you're letting yourself down.
Yeah, you have to be, you have to look at how you handled situations, and even if you did get sick, that may not have been anything you've done or you could have fixed. You have to look at how you handled the situations, and I guess be
kind to yourself.
Yeah, be kind to yourself.
Another thing I think that is helpful is to set goals that rely more on things that are in your control, whether you're flared or not. So, for example, with compliance, if you really struggle with compliance, a good goal to have that you have a good chance of being successful at, whether or not you are flared, is taking your medication every day. That is something that, flare or no flare, you're for the most part able to accomplish. Obviously, financial go into that, and insurance coverage, but if you're consistently trying to be as compliant as possible, I think that's a goal that is a really good one that you have to work at. Yeah. But whether or not you're flared, you can accomplish.
I like that. Going at stuff that could help your goal of you may not want to be if you don't want to be flared, finding goals that could help that.
Mm-hmm.
And do your best. Maybe one could be tracking all your symptoms on the COVID symptom tracking app. That could be your goal.
That could be a goal. Who knows?
If that is, you can sign up for the wait list for the app and get notified of when it gets out. when it does release. We're hoping
at the end of the month.
Yeah, end of the month. COVID has, struck again, I guess, if you want to say. But, that's not going to keep us from hitting our goals. And I guess, we're just really excited for the new year and see where it takes us.
Yeah. So one of our goals is by the end of the month to have 100 people on the wait list for our symptom tracking app. And this app we really designed, obviously we both have chronic illness, and the way we designed it is in a way that really helps you achieve your health goals. So for example, like our reports, helping you, not be as afraid and hesitant to go to the doctor because you have some tools that help you communicate, and just being able to stay on top of your health.
Yeah, organized and just simple. That's, we don't want to take away from the goals you actually, you want to achieve this year. So I guess make sure to like and subscribe down below. Maybe we could do like a cool exit, like, and then it's just like.
What did we say about little editing?
Yeah.
Goodbye. See you next week.